Hey everybody, showered first this time, just for you. The 56th movie in the Criterion Collection, The 39 Steps. We are returning to Alfred Hitchcock in the United Kingdom, and this one's in 1935, so an oldie. Growing up, I always thought that Alfred Hitchcock did horror. I was a big fan of Nick at Night as a kid, but the Alfred Hitchcock show would come on, and I'd be like, oh, I can't watch that. I don't want to watch something scary because I was a little kid. Alfred Hitchcock doesn't really do horror. I mean, I'll grant you, Psycho and The Birds have horror elements. But what Alfred Hitchcock really does for the majority of his career are thrillers or suspense. The difference between horror and suspense is, first of all, suspense doesn't usually have jump scares. But mainly, it's that suspense is about keeping you in a mild state of anxiety. Are they going to make it? Is this going to work out? What's going on? Whereas horror, you know what's going on. Or at least you know the consequences. You know people are getting killed. You know the ghost is in the building or whatever. Suspense is usually when the movie knows more than you do. At least that's my interpretation. And this is a suspense movie, although by modern standards, it's a little silly. I watched it with my mother and we laughed through most of it. The 39 Steps is an adaptation of a book from 1915 that has been made 4 times as a movie. This is the first and the most critically acclaimed. It was also adapted as a video game at one point. I can't speak to the original book, although everything I've read says that this movie is a very loose adaptation. So I can't say that what I'm about to describe is true for the other 3 movies and the video game, because this is the only version of this I'm familiar with now. It also falls very well into line with a lot of Hitchcock movies. Not his most famous by and large, but a lot of them, which is Mistaken Identity and Spy Rings. Mistaken Identity seems to be what Hitchcock thinks is the most dreadful thing a person could find themselves in, a situation where they try to convince people they aren't who those people think they are and can't. Hitchcock visits this theme again and again and again. So what is this film? I'm assuming it's set in 1935. We're not giving any indication that it's any other time period. But a man goes to a show and meets a young woman. There's a disruption as shots are fired and everybody flees. And this young woman says, "Can I come back to your apartment?" And then she's very strange when she's there. And eventually she tells him, "I'm a spy. People are out to get me. These people are trying to steal secrets and get them out of the country relating to air defense. Our main character is a Canadian who is temporarily living in London. Our spy lady is a freelance spy of no discernible origin. And so when shortly thereafter she dies, he is framed for the murder. So he is on the run from the police because he doesn't want to be arrested for her murder and trying to resolve her mission, which is to find who's responsible for stealing these secrets and protect England while clearing his name. And it's never entirely clear which of these is his primary motivation. He's just kind of going for both. He's going to stop the spies and he's going to clear his name. Along the way, he meets the stereotypical Hitchcock girl. Hitchcock is pretty famous for liking blondes with a cool, icy, standoffish demeanor. And that's what this is. There's actually some moments I kind of applaud this woman for having common sense. Because the first time we meet her, he's trying to hide from the police, so he barrels into her train compartment and he says, "I'm sorry about this," and starts making out with her so the police won't pay attention because it's just, 2 people making out. But the police do duck their head in. And before they do, he whispers to her, "They're looking for me, but I'm innocent. I swear I didn't do anything. You got to help me." As soon as the police duck their head in, she's like, I don't know this man, but I think he's the one you're looking for. Please take him. And that happens like 2 or 3 times with her. He keeps running into her, and she keeps immediately ratting him out, which is fair, because this is a stranger. There is plenty of comedic moments, because Hitchcock always likes to put in comedic moments. A love does develop between the two of them. It feels very comical and forced and weird. A lot of the plot is a bit of a stretch. Way too many coincidences. He leaves for Scotland, and he's just told, you got to find a man in Scotland. He finds a map with like an area circled on it, so he's just got to find a man in Scotland in that area, and does almost problem free, which is wild. It's not bad. It's a little... It's sillier than it means to be. It doesn't mean to be silly, but it does come across a little silly just due to its age and, differences in culture now and all that. But I've never encountered a bad Hitchcock film. So, should you watch it? Sure. Black and white 1935 Hitchcock film sounds interesting to you. Mistaken Identity, inspiring, sounds interesting to you. I will grant you, I think it's a little silly, but the way the beginning of the film and the ending of the film tie together is unexpected. And despite being a little silly, I think it's well done, because I didn't expect it. I did not expect the opening and the end to tie together so completely. So kudos to that. And of course, you can play everybody's favorite Hitchcock game, Can You Find Hitchcock? Because he always gives himself a little cameo in all of his movies, so it's fun to see if you can spot him. Hitchcock is who M. Night Shyamalan wishes he was. Anyway, with that, we will move on to number 57 next time. We will be talking about Charade, from the United States, from 1963, directed by Stanley Donen, starring Audrey Hepburn and Cary Grant, which are two names that, even if you're not super into old films, should be at least familiar to you. So that should be fun. After that, we've got one more English language, then we go foreign for a bit. We've got a Monty Python film coming up not too far in the distant future. Yeah, there's some Wes Anderson on the distant horizon. I love Wes Anderson. At me. Come on. Anyway, so that's it for the 39 steps. Short, sweet. Enjoy the rest of your day. As always, thank you for being a part of my endless adventure through this. Hey, just real quick, I'm going to scroll to the bottom of the Criterion collection right now. And there are currently 1,282 individual entries in the Criterion collection. And that is not the same as the number of movies. Some of these entries are TV series. Some of these entries are bundles. For example, and we haven't really dealt with bundles yet, and we're going to take bundles on a case-by-case basis. Sometimes the bundle, the individual movies are then listed afterwards. Sometimes they aren't separate numbered entries, and we'll play it by ear. But for example, one entry in the 600s is the Zatoichi collection, which is 26 movies. That is 26 movies for one entry. So, 1,282 entries. No idea how many movies that is, or TV shows, or music videos, because those are in there too, or Olympic film documentaries, because those are in there too. So, yeah, we've got an incredibly long way to go. We're not all going to make it out of this alive. This is going to take another 20 years. I may not last 20 years. Who knows what the world holds, but for those of you on this journey with me, I will see you next time. Thank you so much.